When you think about time travel, you usually picture like a DeLorean hitting 88 miles per hour, or maybe some glowing, high-budget sci-fi portal.
Right. Not exactly a blurry paparazzi photo.
Exactly. You definitely don't picture a blurry photo of two people just buying snacks at Whole Foods.
Or a suddenly rearranged Instagram grid that seems to just change its mind every 5 minutes.
Yeah. But stepping into the world of high-profile celebrity relationships right now, I mean, it feels exactly like stepping into a time machine.
It really does. The timeline is just, it's glitching.
The timeline is totally glitching. The past is bleeding directly into the present. And suddenly, we're right back where we started. So welcome to today's deep dive.
Glad you're here with us.
Our mission today is to untangle these incredibly complex, deeply cyclical webs of celebrity romance. And we're looking really closely at two massive cultural relationship events that are just unfolding in real time right now.
Two very messy events.
Oh, absolutely messy. First, we have Ariana Grande's sudden, totally whiplash-inducing reunion with a highly controversial ex from a decade ago.
Yep.
And second, there's the explosive, deeply confusing separation of Hollywood power couple Margaret Qualley and Jack Antonoff.
And what's fascinating here is that the most compelling part of these two situations isn't actually the breakups themselves.
No,
it's the underlying mechanics of the aftermath.
Yeah.
Like, we are watching a live demonstration of how past scandals, overlapping timelines, and unresolved history don't just echo in the background.
Right. They don't just fade away.
Exactly. They actively override and dictate present-day reality.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the Ariana Grande timeline.
Yeah.
Because the speed of this pivot is genuinely jarring for anyone trying to keep up.
It's giving people actual whiplash.
Totally. I mean, it has been just 36 days. 36 days since the announcement of her split from Ethan Slater.
Just over a month.
And we really have to remember the intense gravity of that past relationship. I mean, this is a man who notoriously left his wife and newborn child to be with her.
Right, which was a massive narrative-defining scandal on its own.
Huge. It was everywhere. Yet, a mere 5 weeks later, she is already heavily, publicly linked to her 2015 ex-boyfriend, Ricky Alvarez.
Yeah, and the transition isn't just fast, it's practically seamless, which honestly tells us a lot about the machinery behind the scenes.
Oh, for sure.
The clues being dropped right now are heavily stylized. They're almost performative in their nostalgia, like they are touring together right now.
Touring together.
Yeah, and they've been photographed holding hands at Whole Foods. But the detail that really highlights this bizarre cyclical nature.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
During a recent paparazzi run, they were photographed buying the exact same brand of chips they bought together during a highly publicized outing back in 2016.
I saw that. It's like an Easter egg for the most observant internet sleuths.
It really is.
And the digital footprint is screaming just as loudly right now. Ariana is aggressively liking all of his Instagram posts, which, by the way, is making up for years of total radio silence.
Right.
Meanwhile, her recent ex, Ethan, has systematically unliked all of hers. It's like she operates on an aggressive software update schedule.
That's a great way to put it.
She just abruptly uninstalled Ethan, cleared the cache, and downloaded Ricky version 3.0.
Yeah, well, that aggressive digital clearing is a known tactic. But if we look at the historical pattern here, this overlapping upgrade process isn't new.
It's not.
No, it's actually a feature, not a bug, of her public narrative strategy. Let's just rewind the clock to 2015.
Okay, taking it back.
She transitioned from the rapper Big Sean to this very same Ricky Alvarez with the exact same startling speed.
Wait, really?
Yes. The PR machinery at the time cited conflicting tour schedules as the polite, sterile reason for the Big Sean split.
Which is, the classic Hollywood catch-all phrase. It means nothing and everything at the exact same time.
Yeah, exactly. It creates this protective buffer. But almost immediately, during the prep for her honeymoon tour, she began dating Ricky, who was her backup dancer and photographer at the time.
The classic proximity romance.
Right. So the infrastructure for the new relationship was actively being built while the old one was still technically being dismantled in the press.
So like a scaffolding approach to romance. You don't take down the old building until the framework for the new one is already up.
That is exactly what it is.
But my biggest question for you is, why this specific ex? Because if you look at the trajectory of her entire career, 2015 was arguably the most chaotic, toxic era of her professional life.
That was a mess.
Right. So why run backward into a burning building?
It was an absolute PR nightmare. And the centerpiece of that nightmare, the moment that really defined that era, was the infamous Donut Gate incident.
Oh my gosh. Donut Gate, July 4th, 2015 at Wolfie Donut Shop.
Yep.
I remember this starting as just a funny internet meme, like a quirky celebrity misstep. But the actual fallout was wildly disproportionate to a meme, wasn't it?
It was a disaster of crisis management. I mean, surveillance footage caught her and Ricky licking and spitting on trays of unpurchased powdered donuts that were just left on the counter.
So gross.
And then she loudly declared, "I hate Americans."
Yikes.
Yeah. And while Twitter was busy making jokes about it, the real-world mechanism of that fallout was severe and immediate.
What happened?
Health inspectors descended on that mom-and-pop shop as a direct result of the footage, and their health rating was dropped from an A to a B.
Oh, wow. So there were tangible financial consequences for working-class business owners just because of a pop star's reckless moment trying to impress her boyfriend.
Exactly. Real-world consequences.
And then she tried to fix it, which, if I recall correctly, was an absolute masterclass in how not to do crisis PR.
Oh, she broke every rule of narrative control.
Right.
She bypassed traditional PR gates and posted this bizarre, highly personal YouTube apology video where her jaw was visibly swollen because she had recently gotten her wisdom teeth out.
Oh, I remember that, the wisdom teeth video.
Yes. And she attempted to pivot the blame for her behavior onto her frustration with the American processed food industry.
Okay, blaming the donuts for being too unhealthy so you had to lick them?
Yeah.
That is definitely a choice.
It was a terrible choice. It failed spectacularly because it felt entirely disconnected from the reality of her actions.
Oh, sure.
The backlash was so intense, she eventually had to go on a highly orchestrated Good Morning America apology tour just to stop the bleeding.
So it escalated from a YouTube video to national morning television.
Exactly. And this reveals the internal mechanics of her team at the time. Her manager, Scooter Braun, saw the data. He saw a deeply negative influence dragging down his client's brand.
Ricky?
Yes, Ricky. Scooter openly referred to him as a shitty boyfriend who was actively damaging her hard-earned reputation.
Which sets up an incredible power struggle, right? You have the architect of her career on one side and the chaotic boyfriend on the other.
Precisely.
And in the ultimate display of shooting the messenger, Ariana actually fired Scooter Braun in early 2016 for daring to criticize the relationship.
She chose the internal comfort of the relationship over the external reality of her brand.
Wow.
Though the irony, of course, is that the shelf life of that rebellion was really short. She ended up dumping Ricky a few months later in July and then quietly rehired Scooter by September.
So we circle back to my question. Why reboot this specific era if it caused her to alienate her management, tank a local business, and become a national punchline? What is the draw?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the psychology of returning to an ex like this is incredibly complex, especially for someone living in a hyper-visible fishbowl.
Okay.
On paper, returning to the architect of your worst PR crisis makes zero sense. You are inviting the public to dredge up old controversies.
Right. Why remind people of Donut Gate?
Exactly. But psychologically, returning to Ricky might not actually be about Ricky at all.
I need you to break that down. Are you saying he's a symbol of something else?
Look at the broader timeline of her life, beyond just who she was dating. 2015 and early 2016 represent the absolute final era before her life was fundamentally altered by profound, unimaginable trauma.
Wait, what happened then?
It was the era right before the devastating 2017 terrorist attack at her Manchester concert.
Oh.
And it was before the deeply tragic passing of her ex-boyfriend, Mac Miller.
Oh, wow. I hadn't mapped those dates out like that. That is heavy.
It is. Subconsciously, reconnecting with Ricky could be a desperate, very human attempt to reconnect with a pre-trauma version of herself.
That makes a lot of sense.
An attempt to access the person she was before the world became so incredibly heavy and fraught with grief.
That completely reframes everything. So going back to my earlier analogy, it's not just a software update. It's a full system restore to a previous backup.
Yes.
You're trying to reboot the 2015 hard drive, hoping the corrupted, painful files from 2017 and 2018 just disappear.
Exactly.
That makes an unbelievable amount of sense, even if it brings back all the messy collateral damage of that era.
Yeah. It is nostalgia weaponized as a coping mechanism. The problem is, you can't selectively import the past. You get the comfort, but you also get the ghosts.
Yeah, you get all the baggage. So we just looked at someone desperately weaponizing their past to cope. But what happens when a celebrity tries to bury their past and the public just refuses to let them.
That is a whole different kind of mess.
It is. And that brings us to the other massive relationship fracture happening right now. Margaret Qualley and Jack Antonoff.
The internet is having a field day with this one.
No, they are. There was actually a hilarious viral internet joke going around that Ariana single-handedly caused this divorce simply because she gripped Jack's shoulder a little too intimately in a recent photograph.
The internet loves a scapegoat, especially one with Ariana's track record of timeline overlaps.
True. But the reality of the Qualley-Antonoff separation is far more insular, isn't it?
It is. The mechanics of this split are a fascinating case study in dueling narratives.
The timeline itself is shocking. Margaret and Jack are separating after just 3 years of marriage. 3 years.
Barely any time at all in the grand scheme of things.
Right. And the first major public clue wasn't a press statement crafted by a publicist. It was a glaring absence at a highly visible event.
The Taylor Swift wedding.
Exactly. Jack recently attended Taylor Swift's heavily photographed wedding, but he didn't bring his wife, Margaret. He brought his sister.
And in the ecosystem of Hollywood power couples, who you bring as your plus one to the wedding of the decade is never an accident.
Never.
It is a direct communication to the public and the press. It's essentially a soft launch of a separation. But Margaret's digital behavior is where the narrative mechanics get truly chaotic.
Oh, here's where it gets really interesting. Because if you've ever tried to scrub your own social media after a bad breakup, you know the impulse.
We've all been there.
But imagine doing that while millions of people are literally refreshing your page.
Yeah.
Margaret's Instagram grid has been giving onlookers absolute whiplash.
Total whiplash.
Weeks ago, very quietly, she archived all photos of Jack. We're talking about erasing everything, including their highly publicized March wedding photos.
Which is, archiving is an emotional mechanism, right? A digital clearing of the house. It's a way to reclaim your digital real estate.
But then, the absolute second the divorce news officially broke in the press, she unarchived them.
Yep.
Her grid bumped instantly from 25 posts back up to 29. I mean, why would you hide the photos when things are quiet, only to put them back on display the moment everyone is looking?
Because it is a highly strategic counter-narrative.
Okay, explain that.
When the news breaks, the public immediately rushes to your social media to look for clues. By unarchiving those happy-loving photos right as the devastating news drops, she creates a jarring cognitive dissonance for the audience.
She's messing with the narrative.
Exactly. It scrambles the gossip blog's narrative. It's a way of silently communicating, I'm not hiding anything, I'm not ashamed, and I didn't ruin this beautiful thing you're looking at.
Wow. That digital whiplash perfectly mirrors the total contradiction coming from their dueling PR camps right now. We are watching a real-time war of words, and it is messy.
Very messy.
Jack's camp is out there loudly citing demanding schedules and trust issues. But Margaret's representatives are categorically denying any infidelity or trust issues. They are insisting there is nothing but deep love and respect.
Right, and when you see two professional PR statements this violently polarized, you have to look at the underlying cause of the panic.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Exactly. Publicists don't use a loaded phrase like trust issues lightly. Why is Jack's camp preemptively firing that specific flare into the sky?
To get ahead of something.
Usually it's because there's a very specific narrative they are trying to anchor in the public consciousness before another story gets too loud.
And that other story has a name, Drew Starkey.
Yes, it does.
He's Margaret's co-star in the upcoming film King Snake. And the optics here are severely complicating that deep love and respect narrative her team is pushing.
The optics are definitely not great.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Margaret and Drew have been spotted on some highly intimate outings, and we aren't talking about grabbing a quick coffee between takes on set.
No, they've been going on private pool dates.
Pool dates. And they attended a college basketball game together where, crucially, Margaret's dad is the coach.
Right. You do not bring a casual coworker to watch your dad coach basketball.
You just don't. And to add fuel to the fire, Drew quietly split from his girlfriend, Odessa Ezion, just recently.
The classic co-stars falling in love on set mechanism seems to be heavily at play here.
It really does.
And it explains the urgency from Jack's team. They want to control the narrative by establishing Jack as the victim of trust issues before the paparazzi photos of Margaret and Drew start painting a picture of an overlapping timeline.
Right. But I have to push back hard on that, though. Jack Antonoff's camp claiming the moral high ground of trust issues is a massive gamble.
It's a huge gamble.
Because if we look at Jack's romantic history, He is not a blank slate when it comes to blurring boundaries. He is bringing a massive amount of unaddressed historical baggage to this divorce proceeding.
You're referring to the Lena Dunham era, which is exactly why the public isn't buying his victim narrative wholesale.
Absolutely. Jack and Lena were together for 6 years.
Yeah.
It was an intense, highly documented relationship. And Lena laid bare the inner workings of that dynamic in her book, Famesick.
And those details were wild.
The anecdotes she shares are genuinely unsettling, and they paint a picture of a very chaotic environment. Like, she describes coming home from a doctor's appointment while dealing with severe chronic health issues, only to walk into their apartment and find a 16-year-old Lorde weeping into Jack's lap on their couch.
Yeah.
And Jack, a fully grown adult man, is comforting this teenage pop star by telling her, "Your teens are for experimenting."
The power dynamic in that specific image is staggering.
Staggering.
You have a chronically ill partner returning to what should be a safe space, only to find their much older boyfriend intimately counseling a teenager about experimentation. It creates an environment of total emotional instability and eroded boundaries.
It's so inappropriate. And it wasn't just emotional instability. It was allegedly terrifyingly controlling.
Right, the medication incident.
Yes. Lena detailed a horrifying incident regarding her pain medication. Following a deeply traumatic hysterectomy, she and Jack got into an argument about her growing reliance on her prescribed pain meds.
Which is a complex medical issue.
Exactly. But instead of acting like a supportive partner navigating a medical crisis, Jack allegedly took her post-surgery medication and flushed it down the toilet, forcing her into sudden, excruciating physical withdrawals.
Which is a profound mechanism of control. Flushing someone's medication during a vulnerable post-operative state isn't just a lack of trust, it's a punitive unilateral action.
It's a punishment.
Exactly. It forces the partner to be entirely physically reliant on you while simultaneously punishing them. And when you combine that severe behavior with how Jack later handled the media,
Oh, right.
brushing off the rampant rumors about his inappropriate boundaries with Lorde as just dumb heteronormative gossip,
Oh, I hate that defense.
you see a pattern of someone who actively gaslights their partner while aggressively managing their own public image. Seriously. Bringing that kind of unaddressed baggage into a new marriage is like trying to build a luxury mansion on a termite-infested foundation.
The foundation is already rotting.
Yes. It doesn't matter how much goodwill you deposit with a beautiful wedding or how many Grammy Awards you win. The interest from your past scandals is always compounding. Eventually, it bankrupts your public image.
This raises an important question. How do these past behaviors permanently alter a celebrity's standing with their audience?
That's the real issue.
Because typically, when a marriage fails, the public grants a certain amount of grace. We accept that relationships are hard.
People grow apart.
Right. But when your documented past includes flushing your sick partner's medication or licking donuts and screaming about hating America, you permanently strip yourself of that grace.
You lose the benefit of the doubt.
Completely. The public no longer acts as a passive audience. They become forensic investigators. They look at the new relationship failure and immediately start searching for the rot they already know exists in the foundation. That perfectly explains the stalemate we are watching right now. The public doesn't believe Margaret's PR claim of deep love because they can plainly see the pool dates with the co-star.
Exactly.
But they also refuse to trust Jack's claim of being the victim of trust issues because they remember his history of blurring lines and controlling behavior. Neither camp can win the narrative because the public is holding all their past receipts.
Which synthesizes the core takeaway from both of these deep dives. Whether we are watching Ariana Grande sprint backward in time to seek comfort from the architect of her worst PR crisis,
Which is still mind-blowing.
or watching Jack and Margaret drown in dueling narratives of secret emotional affairs and past control issues, we have to realize that modern celebrity relationships operate in closed ecosystems.
Right.
Nothing is ever truly left in the past. The algorithm won't allow it, and the audience won't forget it. Every action, every PR spin, every overlapping timeline is just compost for the next inevitable crisis.
It's an ecosystem where the ghosts never actually leave the house. They just wait quietly in the guest room until you need a distraction or until a publicist needs a scapegoat.
Beautifully put.
So what does this all mean for us, the people watching from the outside? It leaves me with this final provocative thought for you to chew on. We consume these messy relationship timelines as if they were meticulously scripted soap operas, you know?
We really do.
We track the overlapping dates, we zoom in on the brand of chips in a grocery bag to decode hidden messages, We analyze the micro-expressions of a +1 at a wedding, and we demand perfect moral synchronization from these people.
But they're just people.
Exactly. But by enforcing this hyper-visible, highly unnatural standard of living on them, where a single archived Instagram post becomes international headline news and triggers algorithmic panic, is the general public actually fueling the very paranoia, toxicity, and desperate PR spinning that we claim to despise?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Are we the ones keeping the time machine plugged in, forcing them to constantly rewrite their own histories just to survive our scrutiny? So next time you see a paparazzi photo and immediately rush to check the timestamp, ask yourself, who is really controlling the narrative here? Are they manipulating us, or are we demanding the performance?
Something to really think about.
Definitely. Well, that's all for today. Until next time, keep digging deeper.